That update from Felicity Afenyo, who was in the studio yesterday. Felicity, good morning. How are you doing?
Good morning, Johnnie. I'm fine.
You are fine indeed. What are we to expect? 2 days ago, we're hit with rain
yes,
unexpectedly. The rain hit us unexpectedly. What are we to expect on this Thursday?
Yes, for the weather update for today, we are expecting it midday this morning all over the southern sector. We are expecting it to clear by mid-morning to partly cloudy. We expect the sun to be good. Then late afternoon into the evening, we are expecting 40 to 50% chance of rain over the eastern region parts of Bono area, western north, and then eastern barrels. For the state of the sea today, we are expecting it to be rough. We don't have much rain and thunderclouds over the sea, so special folks can go out for fishing, but they have to do it with caution. The water lake from now till 3 p.m. is pretty still for any fishing activities. By after 3, we are expecting localized development of rain and thunder over those areas. In terms of temperatures, most of us over the north, for the highest, we are expecting between 39 and 41. If we are in Ashanti region, temperatures will be around 35. If we are in Kupuri, we are in Eastern Barrel, temperatures will be around 34. This after 33, secondary Safari will record 32 as their maximum temperature for today. So, in general, we are expecting a little bit of fair weather for most portions of the country.
Thank you very much, Felicity. Grateful for your time this morning. And that's Felicity Afenyo. She is a chief forecaster from the Ghana Meteorological Agency. Takes us straight into the news headlines. The Ghanaian Times this morning says, at 2023, SONA government not reckless in borrowing. President dismisses minority claim. Page 11. We have not misapplied COVID-19 funds, according to the president. President didn't present real state of the nation, according to the minority. Ghana joins the world to mark International Women's Day. On the back page, contractor terminates appointments of 1,500 workers in Kumasi. Maternal death dips at WA Regional Hospital. It's Thursday, so it's the Business Finders Day. Reckless borrowing accusations, baseless. Funds spent on social amenities and infrastructure to improve the quality of life. We have Ghana Commercial Bank completes first PAPS client transaction in Ghana. John Kofi Adomako is the general manager of managing director, of the Ghana Commercial Bank. Helen, what do you have?
All right, I've got the Meridian and the Daybreak newspapers this morning. The Daybreak has this to say on the front page. Amishadai runs to media to prolong retirement. You got Reverend Dr. Amishadai Owusu Amwa pictured here on the front page. That story captured on page 3. We'll take a look at that. We didn't chop COVID funds. Ekufuado clears the air, and that's how the Daybreak chose to capture that story this morning. And would you say the president was heckled in the House of Parliament? Not quite heckling,
No,
but
he was not heckled. I think that previous State of the Nation addresses had seen more heckling than what we saw yesterday. And you know, if you know the president, you would see that he usually wear his emotions on his sleeves.
That's right.
And show it on his face that he's not happy with what's going on. He's a diplomat, but in those things, he is not diplomatic at all.
He said, I will be heard. I will be heard. In any case, we'll talk about that as we progress. Health Committee committed to larval control program, and that same story captured on the front page of the Meridian. Also, government hasn't been reckless in borrowing and spending. Again, President pictured here. University of Edinburgh commits funds for African partnership, and our economy is in tatters. Minority leader.
Amishadai.
Yes.
What's the story about him?
Yes, so it's in the Daybreak. Page 3. This story is carried on. Let's zoom into that very quickly. Now, Reverend Dr. Amishadai Owusu Amwa, the Commissioner General of the Ghana Revenue Authority.
He's due for retirement, by the way.
Well,
he got a contract extension, that I know. And he's not the only one. The man who replaced Colonel Damwa is also due for retirement. I celebrated his birthday for him in February. Remember that? He's not alone. There are about 4 others who are all due for retirement.
You say they should go.
Let the retirees go and let the young grow. You know that Titus Glover has been giving a job at the Valco.
I see.
So one of the retirees at Valco is gone home. But there are 7 others at Valco.
Are they still at post?
Yes, in flesh and blood. There's one at the National Theatre who has gone past the age of retirement, who is giving people letters to go on retirement. But she's supposed.
Johnnie says, let the retirees go, let the...
She did sack people, but she did can't pay.
Let's get into the details of this story now. Reverend Dr. Shaddai Owusu-Amoah, the Commissioner General of the Ghana Revenue Authority, like the proverbial drawing man, is clutching at everything to prolong his stay, even as calls for his retirement heightens. This time around, the taxman, who is bracing the odds against his retirement, is clearly on a media campaign to trumpet his non-existent achievements. That's how it's captured here. Details emerging indicates that Reverend Owusu-Amoah is yet to meet any financial target set for him at the authority since his appointment. Interestingly, January and February 2023 targets for both Custom Division and Domestic Tax Revenue Division has not been met, bringing to the fore the reason for the recent media hype and charade over some phantom targets. Now, reports say the targets are reduced for him, and even that has been impossible for him to achieve.
I think, honestly, that when it comes to Reverend Amishadai Owusu-Amoah,
Yeah.
I think that if Kofi Inti had not gone, he would not have had a chance to lead. William, good morning. If Kofi Inti had not left, he wouldn't have had a chance to lead. If George Blanksing had not left, Kofi Inti would not have been there. And you know, I know on authority that there are even some GRA top officials who do not come to the office but are still on salary. One died recently. They are not able to even walk, but they are at home enjoying salaries. And you know the guys doing the work, the national service people, and the people who are absorbed from NAPCO, they're the ones doing the work. What are we doing to ourselves?
Are they on retirement?
They are due for retirement, but they are sitting there hoping that they will get contract extensions.
When you're working from home?
William,
No, I just want to understand.
you know that me, when I say the thing, it is
So I
not,
just want to understand.
I say they have not been retired. They are due for retirement,
To leave prior to retirement, or
but they are hoping that they will get contract extension. The Commissioner General is looking for contract extension. That's why he's touting, we have achieved this, we have doubled this, we have done this, we have done. If you have achieved your target, you have exceeded your target. Why are we at the IMF trying to borrow money? That's the first leg. The second conversation is that I'm telling you today, and anybody at GRA can hold me to it, that there are people at the GRA who actually do not turn up at the office, top officials, right? But they are drawing salaries. And that's because they are old, weak, and frail. One has mild stroke. I'm saying this on air. So what are we doing to our country? What exactly are we doing to our country? In trying to raise revenue. Because the GRA is our eye and ear and hands and boots and nose and mouth on raising revenue. And we always have to redefine the targets before the targets are hit. And then when we exceed the redefined target, then we come and make noise about it that we have exceeded our targets. I don't get it. Reverend Amishadai is due for retirement. He has already gotten a contract extension. What is he looking for again?
so the contract is like 2 years. 2 years.
Sometimes 1 year.
But the maximum will be like 2 years.
2 years. And you know that in fact, even the government of the day had written a statement to suggest that, or to indicate that, because of the situation we find ourselves in, we will not do post-retirement contracts. You remember that?
Yeah.
we had written a statement from the office of the chief of staff that because of where we find ourselves, we will not do contract extensions, but we are still giving people contracts, and people who have retired are still at posts hoping that they will get contract extension. So there's there no leadership.
But then the HR professionals in those establishments are not doing us any good, because as professionals, you have to insist on the professional direction. Because I know places where I've worked. If it's like a month, 2, 3 before your retirement, they will
proceed on leave.
Yeah, leave prior to retirement. The only point is that, look, maybe during that time you have a year to go and you have stroke, as you said, or you are sick or something like that.
Right.
You can be at home and be taking salary because you were sick on the job.
That's right.
But apart from that, I don't see how somebody could be at home and be taking salary when he's due for retirement.
Boss,
if the individual is ill or has had an accident, I think they will give you some number of years if the medical situation suggests that you can't come back to work. Either give you light duties or the settlement, and then you make way for others. So some of these stories, when you hear them, it's just...
The National Identification Authority is led by a man who is past 60. And Kenneth Tifwa is more than 60. Kenneth Tifwa's head of HR now is past 60. No contract extension. She's still at post. Should I go on?
Oh, I know there are a lot of... You see,
Hawk, boss, gone past 60. In fact, gone past 70. Still at post. Is the president's in-law.
So
he married the president's daughter.
The little I know, and I'm hoping for more education, is the civil service, public service, political appointments. What are the age brackets? You know, if we get to know all those, then the conversations will be put in perspective. Because other than that, why would people like Mr. Osafo Mafu still be working? You know, because it's close to 80 or past 80.
Past 80.
That's the point. So that's what I'm saying, that civil service, public service, political appointments, if we get clarification on the age dynamics, then we can make... I'm just saying.
You know, my argument has always been that when you tell young people that we cannot employ you because the payroll is choked, and they see 82-year-olds, 76-year-olds, 65-year-olds gainfully employed with all the benefits, there's a problem in the country.
John,
that's where I understand.
That's where
my problem is.
I'm with you on that, but I'm saying that the clarity must come.
What clarity are you looking for?
Oh, Masa,
I'm asking you.
But you let me learn. How do you know what I'm saying?
But you have not said. You say you
I'm saying that the civil service, public service, political appointment. What are the age dynamics?
Right.
If we get that, then we can situate the conversation.
In this country, we have said that anybody who goes past 60 is due for retirement.
Yes.
Correct.
In what space?
Correct.
Correct. Yes, but in what space? Is it a civil service, public service, or political appointment?
Relax.
But the president came to power when he was 72.
You know, John Mahama, Dr. Baumia, all of them, if they get the nod to lead their party, they'll be more than 60.
Yeah, no. I mean, John.
Yes.
President Mahama is already 64.
Yes.
That's the point I'm making.
Baumia will be also a retiree.
So they don't leave us alone.
But then the question is that these are political positions.
Exactly.
I'm saying that when somebody, for example, is a member of the army, a member of the Navy, Air Force, police, immigration, a member of the whatever it is, Ghana Water Company, ECG, and you are past 60, the rule is that you need to go so that other young people can get an opportunity to come in. Here is a case where the GRA boss has gone past 60, gotten a first contract extension, and the letter that I'm referencing says that because of where we find ourselves, we must not give contract extensions, post-retirement contract extensions. And then even if we do that, we cannot do that beyond 2 years. Amish Shaddai has benefited from 2 times of that.
Yeah.
He's not the only one. So what exactly is he staying there for? Integrity for me is everything.
Yeah, but
it's everything. I know what.
I mean, some of these things, that's why I'm still calling for education. Political appointments. Do we still go with the age thing? Because as you and I have said, even the individuals presenting themselves for president, they're all retirees.
Yeah, no, but that's not what I'm saying that the chief of staff of the Republic of Ghana, who supervises all these offices, had written a statement.
And what's her age?
To say, no, that's not the conversation. The conversation that she had...
But she's also employed by the state.
But she had written a statement to say that because of where we find ourselves, we cannot give contract extensions post-retirement. That's one. Two, even if we have to give you, because you have to pass on your expertise and experience to people below you, we cannot do that. We cannot renew it more than twice. I'm saying that presently, the GRA boss, he has ticked those two boxes. What is it still doing at the office?
I agree.
That is all I'm saying. I didn't write the letter.
But what I'm also calling for is education on the civil service appointments, public service and political appointments. What are so maybe we have to get that.
We'll get into
exactly.
That. Let's welcome Nanaya Jantoa. Nanaya Achimpem Jantoa. She's the General Secretary of the Convention People's Party. She'll be on TV3 later today, but she listens to 3FM 92.7. Nanaya, welcome.
Thank you.
How are you doing?
I'm fine, thank you.
Great.
Can I say something about...
Say, please.
Yes, you're going to ask me a question.
No. Say. I'll always yield to you first.
Oh, no. You are going to ask me a question.
No, I'll ask you later.
Okay.
But say what you want to say.
Okay, let me say good morning to your listeners and everybody in the studio and your crew. Let me say good morning to my brother Sixtus. He dragged me here this morning.
You can trust him to do that.
The Don, so.
If he has, if he has Asoribe's backing, you are in trouble. If I add my own, let the powers combine. I am Captain Planet.
Yes, it's our Captain Planet. You guys pushed me here. You see, John, you are right. The retiring age for any public servant is the age of 60. And we need to dichotomize between the political appointee who is not in mainstream public service like the chief of staff, the president himself and others, and the political appointee who is in the public service. Because if you become a chief executive, you need to go for a PSC, a Public Service Commission interview. You need to pass that interview. And when you pass, you are given a tenure by the Public Service Commission. After the president has appointed you, that is the procedure. So you immediately enter the public service as a chief executive. The rules of the public service covers you. And there is an allowance for one contract,
right,
like for 2 years. After that, the public service does not allow it. And there should be very tangible reasons why they should give you a contract. That maybe there's a project you are doing you haven't finished. Maybe there's an expertise that you have that at that moment, if they let you go, there will be a gap. But sometimes I wonder in my head, whilst you were there, couldn't you have trained somebody to take over?
Of course.
I mean, that is where we have a gap in this nation.
In fact, that is why people are giving contract extensions.
Yes.
To pass on the knowledge.
But you have been there 4 years. You've been there all the time.
Years.
Yeah, 35 years.
But they didn't do it. Nana, you know one thing I found out and which is what made me start Let the Retirees Go, Let the Young Grow, the hashtag. I found out that let's say William is 58. He's due for retirement in 2 years. There is a training that's coming up which will be applied over next 5 years. William will not be there in the next 5 years. So ideally, William, who sits on that table, should be able to recommend
somebody
Helen,
else,
who is 40, 42, to go for that training and come back.
Even too old. I mean, like 30 something.
Well, and come and bounce back the knowledge to the people. It is William who goes on that training. When he comes back and he's due for retirement, he says, oh, but I just went to Geneva for this training. I have the information. I need to stay on to train. That's what they do.
Yes.
It's pure blackmail.
It's not blackmail, it's the per diem. Because you know, public service salaries, even if you are a political appointee, is the same. So it is the per diem that pushes them, and especially the core public servants. I'll be truthful. It's not that he wants to pass on or he wants to stay on. I mean, looking at maybe his or her finances at the moment, he needs a push up to buy windows for his house, to buy something that will enable him get shelter. And that is where I always say that there should be a plan for public servants when it comes to their existence after public service, because most of them maybe live in government bungalows. For 35 years, their salaries are not that high, and they might not even have a place to live. Some people go back to family houses. So I think that instead of the government doing this rent thing, they should find a way of, getting mortgages for public servants. For public servants to be able to pay, and a mortgage that is run by government, so that whatever they have to pay at the end of the day will not be too much, but they will have a place to lay their heads. I remember those days when during the Rawlings regime, they built this Sakumono, and all of them built it. It's unfortunate that this is the only, Kofor built a lot. Everybody
in the Kanda estate.
The Kanda estate. That's coming from yes, a pensioners. So you stay in it and you pay bit by bit.
Yeah.
Few. So by the time you finish, you have a place to lay your head. You see, that is one of the most the push factors for people wanting to stay on in the public.
That's right.
Your shelter.
Johnny,
And
I'm going to say something very controversial. I have worked in the media for 25 years. I've walked around the country and the world with public servants, senior ones. When they get the per diems and the other allowances, gardener allowances, maid allowances, sometimes they travel with laptops. Those things are draining.
You mean small girls? Say it. Why you?
How? Because how can you?
Yeah, that's what they call it.
The laptops are even big. These days they are using iPads.
See, Helen is shocked.
You see,
Helen is shocked.
I've never heard that
because,
before.
Oh, wow, laptop.
Madam, because you see, you need to be creative enough
to save your money.
To build something small. Because how can you be in service for 35 years and you say you don't have a house?
You put Helen in
You
shock.
live in a government bungalow for 35
William,
years.
you need to
couldn't make
manage
it.
Helen
Madam,
now.
you know. And the kind of lunches they have, you go to the big,
No, but
big
the
lunch.
lunches, they are not paying for it.
But it's money. Exactly.
William,
But William, let me tell
William,
you something.
you need to
Madam,
manage
you
Helen. You
know
put
the
her in
thing.
shock.
Waste money.
No, but if they eat the lunch, they eat the lunch because that lunch money will not come to their pocket.
Right.
You know,
So they enjoy the lunch
You know,
because they will tell you it don't come to
they
their
agree
pocket.
so many things
William.
that they should save the small money and build.
William, you put Helen in shock. You need to
The
manage her
laptop.
now.
Madam
Yes.
said that they are carrying fridges.
The laptops, they are even big now. They are using smartphones. They are carrying smartphones.
So you can sneak it in.
They are carrying smartphones.
It's a
Well,
fact.
William, so here's this is from Daily Guide online, right? It says government halts post-retirement contract. Abena Osei-Asare is the Deputy Finance Minister. She signed that letter, I remember. She said the government has, with immediate effect, suspended the granting of approval for post-retirement contract appointments for retiring officers. In a statement issued recently to clarify the confusion surrounding post-retirement contracts, the Finance Ministry said such requests can only be granted in case where the skills of the retiring officers are in short supply and unavoidably needed. The statement, which was signed by the Deputy Finance Minister, Abena Osei-Asare, said after teacher unions raised an objection to the post-retirement contract extension granted to the Deputy Director of Management Service at the Ghana Education Service, lawyer Anthony Boateng, and I spoke about him as well. I'm told he's gone home with other 6 regional officers. The weekend has been inundated with concerns and agitations, yada. So the government itself says, we don't have the budget to support you. How is it that we are still keeping? This was in August 2022. Yeah. In 2023, we are still talking about the same thing. The government is showing us that they are not serious.
Even in the media, the public media of houses, it happens.
It's all over the place.
Yes. It's not when it's editor or general manager or MD and it's time, he's working all over the place begging for extension. You've been in the business for 25 years, 30 years,
What
40
did you do
years.
with your time?
And you know the media, you have all kinds of social, networks.
Soiree.
Yes, that you can use to support yourself, build your future.
And that's why I say creativity.
Yes,
You have
money
to
is not in the
leverage-
pocket, it's in the
leverage all of
mind.
those things.
You know, what you have is a social capital. That's what I have lived on. I wouldn't say that I want to build a house and I'm going to dole out like 1 million cedis to buy a house. I can't. So I know this, that can help me to do ABCD. It's not like you are going to take bribe or anything, but that's the social network that you build. And then you use it to build a house I mean,
Anyway, let me check. What you heard the president yesterday?
Johnny, I beg you.
Don't beg me, please. No,
don't be mother come and cry today.
No, you are my auntie. You're my auntie. If I ask you a question, you say you beg me. You beg me how?
Johnny, I beg you.
Helen is in shock. You're also begging me. So the ladies on the show who will soften the show for me, they are all.
I mean, I think that's the same response, Anaya, you gave me yesterday. I asked her what she wanted to hear ahead of the address. She said she's very busy.
Yes. So today there you have a head.
No hope.
So no, today you have a head. What did you hear? What do you say?
Joy, I didn't hear anything.
Oh, you didn't hear anything.
Yesterday, the president elevated his slangs.
He started off on a right note, wishing all of us International Women's Day.
But he didn't even talk about the affirmative action bill.
That is true.
I mean, if he really meant what he said, the first thing he would have said was that I am committed to ensuring that the affirmative action bill will be passed into law. And all, yes.
He didn't say that.
No.
But he said they have not been reckless in borrowing and spending.
That's why I said I don't want to talk about it. I don't know who actually wrote that piece for him.
The speech.
Yes.
I've asked the president to sack his speech, right?
Yes. Because you see, at this moment, that is not when you are trying to justify all the issues. The word is not coming, but he's justifying the unjustifiable. He's trying to make right what is not right. He's trying to clean up the debts in our faces. And it sounded a bit insulting. It sounded a bit arrogant. He didn't exude the body language of empathy. It was like business as usual. It was like, let me just say it. I mean, anyhow. I mean, the way he was talking, it was as if I have to do this anyway. You said I should do it. It's like a little boy who is learning. You can see his mind is not on the book. Then he's just there. Mommy, you say I should. Yes, I say I should learn, so I'm trying to. The Constitution enjoins him to come and stand there and give us the state of the nation.
So that's what it did. But you didn't hear any substance.
I said yesterday his slangs was elevated. So me, when he started, I said, today what is wrong with my ear? Then I'll shake it small. I just couldn't hear. I said, hey, what's up? What's going on?
What's up? What's up? The president or to brofo.
And I'm saying, this situation that we are in a comedy is brofo. I mean, what is it? At least yesterday, you should have reduced the slang small, talk slowly, so that those of us who are not Oxford trained or whatever, those down there, we can listen to him. Because he went on, I say, hey. And then the idea, because for instance, he was talking about the COVID funds. And he was trying to justify that there was no misappropriation.
That's right.
Okay, granted there's no misappropriation, but there was misapplication. Granted everything they did was right. You see? They said they used 53% of the COVID funds to fight COVID.
That's right.
Any country which had a 53% penetration of COVID spread, it wasn't bad because some countries had over 100 and something percent.
That's right.
And they even went overboard their budgets. Then you use 46% to support the national budget. That money wasn't meant to support national budget. So if they wanted to do that, they should have gone to Parliament to say, we have received this amount of money. We have been able to save 46% of the money, and we want it to support the national budget. That is misapplication. Then when you add 53 to 46, it's 99%. Where is the remaining 1%? The remaining 1% is about $6 billion because $6 million.
Right.
$60 million. The money was $6 billion. So $60 million, where is it? When I said it yesterday, somebody said miscellaneous.